Hi there class, it's Mr. Verzette. Today I'm going to do a two-point perspective demonstration of the repeater, and not only the repeater as if I were doing segments, but also as if it were in repeating cube forms. So let's get started. As you can see, the major difference between one and two-point perspective is that there are two vanishing points. You now have to line up every vertical line up to two receding planes. There's also no more x-axis. There's no horizontal left to right lines. They're all either straight up and down or slanted. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have it going off this way to the right. I'm just going to put a vertical line right smack dab here for the heck of it. Now, do I connect the top part to the left? No, because it's already been done for us. Do I connect it to the right? Well, I'm going to say in this case no, because we're not making a see-through cube. That corner would be obscured by this plane closest and then the one on the bottom. But I will connect this bottom part here. And as you can see, we're starting to get a shape that's starting to take shape as if it were a cube. So I'm going to start closing off my cube now. I'm going to define the outermost edge over here, and for this, when we go to close off the back of this plane, we just look over here and say, oh hey, this line is straight up and down, so the back of it is going to be straight up and down as well, like so. And then we connect that to our corner. Now, what do we do about this corner? How do we find out how we connect the back part of our cube? Is it a flat horizontal line, just like in one-point perspective? No, it's not, because there are no flat horizontal lines. Here's how it works in two-point. Look at this line here. See how it's slanted? Well, this line will be slanted as well. But it will not be at the same angle. We still need to line this line up to the vanishing point over here. Now watch. Now let's get in here really close and look at this. If you look close at this slanted line and then at its neighbor right over here, they're at totally different angles. So the reason why is because this line is closer to the horizon line. Horizon line's flat. The closer things get to the horizon, the flatter they get. So a common beginner mistake when doing this is to make sure that when they're closing off their forms, they keep, beginning students sometimes try to copy this same angle right here. That's not the case. You need to create a new line by connecting this corner to the opposite side. That's how. Okay, we now got our closed off box, scaffolding on and off, and now we can begin the repeater. I'm sure you're well familiar with the repeater. It's the same exact process. That is it. And as a matter of fact, it's basically the exact same thing that we did in one-point perspective if we're going down the receding plane over here. The only difference is that all of these sides are going to be receding planes. There's no flat repeater grid that we put over everything. So here's how we do it. I'm just going to go in and decide where the next layer is going to be at, and there we go. I've done the X, the straight up and down, and then when it came time to find out where the middle was, all I did was line the ruler up at this intersection point and then connect it to the vanishing point and make a line. Now here's something to note. Let's say, for the sake of argument, what if you were not creating just a simple trailer-like shape here? What if you were actually creating a checkerboard? Well, that means you would have to do the repeater on this plane as well as this plane. But look, some of the work has been done for you. We've already determined where the middle of this intersection is, which means if I were to create this next plane, if I had to find out where this middle line would go, just watch. All I have to do is connect this point to our vanishing point, and voila, we've just found out where the middle is. Then all we need to do is just go in and continue building the repeater grid just like we did from the last time. So it draws itself in several areas, and we're ready to go. So be mindful. Try to see if you're working in one plane, see how it would affect another. Likewise, you know, if we were to try to figure out where a cube would be under this area on the underside plane, well, check it out. The exact same way that you would draw a 3D cube, well, I'm just going to take this corner and watch this. I'm going to connect that to the opposite vanishing point. Oh, look at that. We've just found our a cube if we were to make a cube like that. Likewise, let's just connect this line to this vanishing point. Boom. Okay, looking good so far. Let's connect this line to the opposite side and see how the repeater grid starts to draw itself. All right, all we need to do next is make the X's connect the corners. And look, we've got, we could do a repeater on either plane if we wanted to. That's how perspective draws itself if you make your lines line up correctly. Pretty cool, huh? Well, I'm not going to worry about doing the repeater on both of these sides. I'm just going to worry about making sure my segmented lines are right. So I'm going to burn through this. There we go. We're good to go. You'll speed through it if you just kind of keep plugging away at it, and make sure it's accurate though. And again, if you need to know that your lines are straight vertical, one common mistake that I see is that these vertical lines start to slant the further away down they get. What you need to do to combat that is use a T-square. It's one of those ruler ice pick things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw black lines over every other vertical surface. So as you can see, one plane is this size, so I'm going to draw one vertical line here. I'm going to skip one, draw one here. Okay, let's turn off our scaffolding. This is where we're at. Now what I want to do is I want to create the underside of it. It's not enough to have just kind of a segmented outside. We need to have it segmented on the other side too. So remember, there's no x-axis, so that means we're going to connect every one of these intersections to the opposite side. Okay, this is what it looks like so far, and as you can see, once you do one plane, you don't even have to really do this underside. We don't even have to really do the repeater anymore. It drew itself. So I just connected these corners to the vanishing point. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw my black lines over them. Okay, turning off the scaffolding, here's where we're at, and now we have a nice segmented, repeating, trailer-looking shape. Now, I bet you all know where we're going with this next one. I'm going to turn these into cubes. And you guys remember the aha moment from the one-point perspective? All you have to do is define the top edge and the outside edge of the form to get that cube. Well, same exact process here. The secret is, though, remember, you have to go every other cube. You can't just go one line then the next. That means this area right here is going to be empty space. So the only difference now is we don't have any horizontal x-axis lines. That means we have to connect all of these, every other top, to the vanishing point on the left. And I'm going to do that now. And there we go. Now there's one other thing we need to do. We need to close off the outside left edge of this. So let's just go ahead and watch. Okay, so we've defined our edges. Now I'm going to go in and erase the lines that I don't need. And there we go, everybody. That is one completed repeating cube in straight lines. That's how you do it. Let's turn on the scaffolding really quick, just to get kind of a look at how much of your pre-drawing lines there are, and look how much that adds up. That's normal. That's normal. So once you get good enough, you become more aware of what lines you need and what lines you don't need anymore. You can totally just erase as you go. But once again, you need to be aware of what ones you're going to need in the future, and that just takes practice. So, long story short, perspective is not easy. It's like mathematics, and it's one of those things you need to know before going into landscape and formal painting. It's just some of the basics. So do watch this over again if you don't have it down right now. And apart from that, I look forward to seeing you guys in class, and take care. Bye.